Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline report. Sometimes I have top pros, but sometimes I like to have people who I consider like one of us, someone who's a little more inspirational, someone who started out skinny or fat, or someone who's even been both, like this guy today, rather than some genetic freak who didn't really have a whole lot of challenges on the way to looking the way they look now. Today's guest is, you know him from the forum as D Nuts, or you might know his actual name, Derek Lutz. Derek, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ron.
I want to start off with some background info before I start with all the crazy questions. So, first of all, how old are you, Derek?
I am 24.
24. Just a kid. Just a kid.
Kid.
Tell me a little bit about where you grew up, what kind of things you were into as a kid and a teenager.
Yeah, I'm from Tiffin, Ohio. It's kind of a smaller farm town. I played sports growing up, football, basketball, baseball. I was always the fat kid, got picked on, liked my food, kind of outdoorsy. My grandfather was a farmer, so I was always outdoors. I attended college at a smaller college, another farm town, and then I moved back home. So
When and where? How did all this start for you? The bodybuilding, the weight training. What sparked it all in the beginning for you?
I fell in love with the weight training through football, and I picked up it was actually a Muscular Development magazine. I remember it was Jay Cutler was on the cover.
Yes,
It was that famous '09 quad stomp.
that's the best cover ever.
It was fantastic. And I'm like, I want to be big. I don't want to be fat anymore. So I waited till football got over, and then I started losing the weight. So I was an offensive lineman, so I couldn't necessarily lose all the weight mid-season.
Yeah.
And then I just began lifting, eating right, got really skinny. So
let's give people an idea. So at your heaviest as a high school, say senior,
I was pounds, 315, 320,
ooh, how tall are you?
5'11".
Wow. Okay. So you went and you started dropping the fat. How long did that take, and what did you get down to when you were at your thinnest?
My thinnest, it took about 8 or 9 months, and I lost over about 115, 120 pounds.
Wow.
I got down to about 180.
Wow. Okay. So I want to know, who inspired you or what inspired you? Where did you get your information from? Did you sort of model your training or your nutrition off of any one particular person, or did you sort of take and choose from different people?
Actually, I got really lucky when I first started. My first supplement I ever bought was a pack of the Animal Pump pre-workout. So I got on the Animal Pack boards and forums, and almost immediately when I started my weightlifting and bodybuilding, and all the guys over there helped me out quite a bit. Just a mixture of information on the boards, their athletes posting their Q&As. One person in particular really helped me out, and that's Christian Coronado. He's a national level competitor.
Yeah.
I think he goes by tree trunk legs on the boards and stuff.
Yeah.
He really helped me out quite a bit when I first started, and I would consider him a good friend, so I'm thankful for him.
Okay, cool. All right, now I'm going to start going into questions from the readers. You're pretty well known on our forums, so they were excited that we're doing this, and they had some questions for you. Guy Hungwell wanted to know, as a student, how did you manage to fit the bodybuilding lifestyle into a student budget? Because I remember being in college and being broke as a joke.
Yes. Yes. Well, pardon?
Yeah, so I mean, you had to eat and you had to train and stuff. How did you afford it? How did you accommodate everything?
Well, luckily, as far as tuition goes, I didn't have to worry about tuition. I had a full ride to college.
Oh, nice.
And then I did my best to eat on the meal plan. I mean, I think the hardest meal might have been breakfast. I just got 10 or 12 hard-boiled eggs every morning. And I'm actually kind of lucky. My parents did help me out. They bought me chicken breast. I'd come home every 3 or 4 weeks, about an hour away from home. I'd come home, grill up 10, 15 pounds of chicken breast, take it back, put it in my portable freezer in my dorm.
Yep.
And then everything else is fairly cheap: rice, potatoes, oats, peanut butter, and stuff. A lot of that stuff you can get at the dining hall. So it was just really basic. I struggled for probably the first 6 months, yo-yoed up and down. And then as far as gym memberships go, I mean, I trained at the school rec center. It wasn't a bad place to train.
Right.
So they had everything you need.
So were you there on academic scholarship or athletic?
Academic.
Okay, so you're actually a pretty smart guy.
I try to be.
I would have guessed that from the glasses, personally. But, I think it was from the same guy, Guy Hungwell, or maybe not. If I'm not giving whoever this is credit, I'm sorry. But your waist measurement and your weight at the fattest, so you're like 315, 320.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your weight was? Your waist measured at that?
I think I wore somewhere close to 40, 42 jeans.
Okay. So the waist itself was probably a couple inches bigger than that. I would guess from my own.
I had a big belly.
And I've seen you dieted down to like a vacuum and a little tiny waist. So what was the smallest you can recall your waist measuring in recent times?
I've actually around belly button, I've gotten under 30.
Wow. So just to put it in perspective, if you're wearing like 42, 44 jeans, I know from doing the own conversion around the belly button, your waist was probably 45, 46 at that point. So that's a hell of a reduction in waist measurement. He also wanted to know, okay, what was your typical daily eating when you had to lose that initial weight versus how you eventually ate once you had lost all the excess weight and you were starting to put muscle back on? What were the two different styles of eating that you had?
I lost all my initial weight the first time. That was just low carb, low fat, higher protein. I really didn't know what I had some guidance, but as far as making adjustments, I didn't really know what I was doing too much. So I was just taking away carbs, taking away fats. And toward the end, it was probably dangerously low calories. That's probably why I got so skinny.
Yeah.
And then for the next 2 or 3 years, I just kind of yo-yoed up and down, making a little progress here and there. And that's just because I didn't know how much food to add, how much food to take away, when to add food, when to take away food. So I'd either get fat real quick and not put on a lot of muscle, and then I'd diet it all off and lose all the gains I did make.
Yeah. Did you keep records, or at any point did you start keeping like nutrition logs of everything?
I have. It's scattered. I go in spurts. I would have 4 or 5 months worth of diets written down, and then I just kind of instinctively make changes and get lazy with typing them out. And then I start doing it again when I would start a new phase, and then tire out on it and just kind of keep going. But I do have pictures basically all the way through, so I've kept picture logs.
Would you recommend people keep nutrition logs? It seems like a lot of people look to you as sort of a guide for their own either fat loss or because you've been kind of pretty much everywhere that most of us have been. You've been skinny, you've been fat, and now you're just big and jacked. I think a lot of people from both camps sort of look to you for advice. Would you recommend nutrition log for just about anybody?
Highly, yes. I've noticed I've made the fastest progress over the past year and a half when I was strict nutrition log and strict training log.
Okay. The next question he said was, how have others in your family, your loved ones, friends, how did they react to the transformation over the years? Were they supportive? Were they surprised at what was going on? Just how did they deal with everything with your body, what's going on?
All the above. They were supportive. They couldn't believe I did it. No one could really believe I did it because I've always been the super overweight kid. They were worried that I was getting too skinny. They were, I wouldn't say mad, but they were getting frustrated because I was 100% strict. I never ate off diet. I didn't find that balance until later on down the road. They were worried. They were happy. Just about every feeling you can imagine, they felt at some point. They've always been super supportive. They've helped whatever I needed help with.
I want to know now how many times you competed? Once or twice so far, or more?
Just
once.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me how you came about picking the show, and just tell me how that experience went for you, because
wow,
all of us only get one first show.
Yeah, that was. I didn't even plan on competing. It was the winter of 2015. That winter, I was just dieting down and got a little too soft. Was doing kind of like my yearly big cut down, and I think it was around what ended up being the 9-week out point. I posted some pictures in the Daily Pump thread, and I remember it was Big Mike. He asked when my show was. I'm like, I'm not doing one. I'm just dieting down, and he told me to really look into one because I was closer than I thought to contest shape. So I actually messaged Matt Porter at the time. I'm like, hey, I trust Matt. He's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
And he was like, you can be ready in like 7 weeks. So I started looking around shows, and there's the Mike Francois Classic, like 7 weeks away. and then there was a smaller show up near Cleveland, about 9 weeks away. And I asked Matt, like, what are your rates for 7 weeks? Could you help me out? Don't be offended if I say no. I'm a broke college student. And he offered to help me out, take me under his wing, made me a little bit of a deal. And that's when it started. About 7 weeks out, I decided to do my show. Decided to do the Mike Francois Classic. It was an hour and a half away from my house.
And what'd you end up at? I remember your condition was really, really good.
I ended up as a heavyweight. I got 5th in the Open. It was a fantastic classic. I was really lucky to stand next to some good guys. Yeah. The winner of my class actually won the whole show. He actually won the Pittsburgh the week before.
Wow.
He ended up winning the light heavies at North Americans that summer then.
Who's that?
Dylan Williamson.
Okay. I know the name, sure. Huh.
And second place guys for Mr. Ohio, Marcus Perry. Third place guy, Tyler Crisp. He just got first in the super heavies at the Kentucky Open this past weekend. So a lot of big guys. I was the smallest guy in my class, but I was the hardest. I was a 200-pound heavyweight.
How much?
201.
Yeah, that was my Masters Nationals experience. But yeah, you wouldn't have guessed. I mean, I would never have guessed you're only 201. You know, the illusion that you create with the small waist and everything, and the condition is much greater than that. So, you know, a lot of guys will do one show and they either get fired up and say, "This is for me. I'm going to keep doing this. I want to get better and better," or they say, "Oh, that was interesting, but I don't need to do it again." Which category did you fall into?
Oh, I was fired up. I was ready to go.
So, tell me about what the experience was like, because, you know, getting up on stage in the little briefs and everything, a lot of people just never compete because they just can't bring themselves to do that. Was it tough for you to be up on stage like that and, you know, on display?
Surprisingly, no. Like, I'm kind of a shyer, introverted guy, so I was kind of leading up to the show. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. And then I had an incident the night before at the check-ins. I had my suit on, and one of the judges said I couldn't wear that suit on stage. It was an illegal suit, and it was one of those custom-fitted posing suits from one of the companies. So I couldn't believe it. So I started messaging a few guys in Columbus area that I knew, and luckily I was able to get a pair of extra trunks. And at that point, like I was so relieved. I figured nothing could be worse than that. So the whole day of the show, I mean, I was just like kind of numb. I was just so tired. Yeah. Kind of hungry, dehydrated, and then the only thing I didn't really enjoy was the posing routine. Yeah. So I'm not an artistic person. You're up there by yourself. I could do away with that, but the comparisons were fun. Backstage, I had a good experience. The show was really well ran. I had no problem up there in the trunks. So,
you know, that was that was spring 2016, that show?
Yep, May 2016.
Okay, so it's been over a year. Where do you stand as far as what you want to do next?
I want to do May 2017.
Oh.
I'm gonna do the same show as a goal.
We already missed it, May 2017.
Oh, 28. Nope. I'm going back in time.
It's okay. So, you know, are you interested in power? I see all these crazy weights you move. Are you interested in powerlifting at all? Competing in it?
Yeah, I dabble back and forth. I've always wanted to do a powerlifting meet. I feel like I'll do one at some point when the time's right. Whenever the gym I train at is more of a powerlifting-based gym. My buddy opened it. It's a little private gym. Yeah. A lot of people down there are more powerlifting-based. So I'll probably hop in whenever they decide to do a meet, as long as it's not too close to a show or too deep into a diet where I'm going to be kind of weak and depleted. But I would like to do a meet someday.
Now, I know you're not the bragging type, but I'm going to put you on the spot anyway. I've seen, you know, so many just pictures with all these plates and plates and plates. Can you run down just a few of the best lifts that you've had?
I've pulled a 750-pound deadlift, squatted 700 pounds. I got a bench in the high to mid fours.
Yep.
I've seated shoulder press 350 for a couple reps. I don't know. Barbell row 475 for 6.
Whew. Now this is what are you weighing right now? You look like you're about 280.
I'm about 255 right now.
Damn it! I suck at guessing weight. I'm supposed to be good at this. Okay, but you know, are you a little leaner now than you would normally be, or is this your normal weight?
I'm actually a little leaner. I just finished a little mini cut here, actually this past week. I've put on about 10 pounds in 4 days. So.
Wow. Okay. Good eating. Good eating.
Yes.
I just saw a really cool post you made that I want to make you sort of duplicate it. It was about how people come up to you all the time, and all of us who've been doing this for a while get this from, the less committed people out there. They're just regular gym rats. They want to know what's the secret. What's the secret? What are you doing? What are you taking? They think it's just one little thing that makes a difference between them and you. It's a pill or a shot or some magic workout or some magic diet. They're looking for like a quick fix all the time. So tell me how like people have come up to you looking for the secret. How do you sort of explain to them that there is no secret?
I always try. I try to be friendly. I try to give them real advice, and then you can kind of tell right away if they're going to follow it or not, just based on their reaction. And then, like, for example, I have a big jug of my intra-workout drink. I drink every workout, and I get so many comments like, "What's in that?"
Yeah.
And I tell them it's amino acids and carbohydrates. That's all there is. And they put their head down and walk away like that was some secret drink. And I know, and then like I kind of explain to them that you're not going to take a supplement that's going to put on 60 pounds. You're not going to do a certain exercise that's going to make you explode. It's a mixture of all the above. I tell them what I eat during the day. I tell them supplements I take. I tell them how I train, just so that they realize that it's not just you go in and talk on your phone for half an hour in the gym, leaning on a bench.
Yeah.
And where I'm from, there's not very many serious weightlifters.
Really?
You got maybe 5 or 6 around town.
Wow.
And I'm the only one that's ever competed.
So
I mean, it's not no one around. Everyone thinks they're hardcore. Everyone thinks they're super serious.
Yeah.
And then they just aren't.
Let's see. I'd like you to comment on something because you're in this age group, this millennial group and it's not just limited to millennials because there's people my age, and even I sometimes fall into this mind trap where, you think the guy that's bigger than you must be taking way more drugs. He must have some drug that you don't have or some higher quality brand name. It's always something. There's always some excuse as to why this guy looks bigger and better than you. Do you find you run up against that attitude a lot, and do you have to sort of deal with it on your own, or have you sort of gotten past that?
For the most part, I've gotten past that. There's just one kid at the gym I used to work out at that there's always an excuse of why someone's bigger than him, stronger than him. He knows so and so is big into this, or he takes this, or for example, I put a piece of gum in my mouth one day walking out of the bathroom, and he thought I was taking something special. I'm like, dude, it's gum. he went around telling everyone I was popping drugs in the bathroom.
Oh man, juicy fruit.
Okay.
All right, gonna hit you some more questions. B Neva, one of our great posters, he posts some amazing ass pics on Daily Pump Pics. Thank you, B Neva.
Fantastic.
What keeps you motivated, and what advice would you give to someone who has lost their motivation?
Good question.
Yeah.
That's actually really hard for me to answer because I've always been very internally driven, internally motivated. I do it for myself. I've never really had to look outside of something to be motivated. But I think it's just look at your long-term goals, set short-term goals that lead up to those long-term goals, and then I've always found it fun sitting down developing a plan, like whether it be a training plan or a nutrition plan. I've always found that fun and enjoyable and motivating me, having something written down to follow, and surrounding yourself with people who want to get to where they want to be as well, and you guys all kind of support each other. Finding a group of people is huge.
So I know you're internally driven and motivated, but who do you see now, either on the amateur level or pro level? Could be a coach, could be a pro, anybody, or none of the above. Who sort of inspires you now at this stage?
Now it's tough. There's a mixture of people. Maybe not so much what I want to look like or who I want to be like, but just like the way Dallas McCarver trains, the way him and Matt Jansen, they kind of like really sit down and think about every aspect. I follow a lot of guys on Instagram that just have this crazy work ethic. I really like Evan Senopani's outlook on life and the whole sport of bodybuilding. He's just a really down-to-earth guy. John Meadows, his kind of how he's big into family and balance, his work ethic, trying to find new things that are kind of rooted in science but still work in the real world. I've always looked up to Matt Porter. He's always reading articles. He's always posting good information. his posts on MD and other forums have really given me tools to make the gains I've made over the past couple of years. So it's just kind of a mixture of all the above.
Okay. More questions from B. Neva. Do you prefer programmed training or instinctual training?
Both. I kind of do a mixture of both. The way I train is very progressive overload. It's actually kind of rooted in dog crap Dante Trudel methods.
Yep.
Not so much the rest pause technique, but trying to beat yourself every week. So I have 8 workout days in a cycle, and each day has a certain lift that I focus on where I try to really progress on. So like for quads, it'll be like a safety bar front squat or a safety bar squat. I have an upper chest day, that's incline barbell. A heavy back day is a barbell row or deadlift. So those are my main program lifts that I try to either get extra reps on, add 5 pounds on each and every week. And then everything after that's kind of instinctual, what I feel like doing that day. Maybe try a new technique, new exercise. So like the beginning of my workout's usually pretty planned, and then as I get further down into the workout, it's more having fun, trying new things, seeing what feels good.
Now, are you still at the stage, especially where you're young and you haven't been training that long in the scheme of things, are you still making pretty steady progress as planned when you do this?
Way better than planned. I've put on almost 80 pounds over the past year. Like, I never would expect it. And I'm 5 or 6 years into working out now, so.
Yeah, it's pretty damn great. So, with all the heavy weights and everything, especially where you're getting bigger and stronger so fast, injury is always something you need to have in the back of your head. Is how do you prevent that? Do you do a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility work? What's your whole program for staying safe and healthy that way?
I start most workouts with a thorough warm-up as far as like for chest and shoulder days. I do rotator cuff warm-up, some prehab with bands, some minor upper body stretching. Lower body, I always do some things to open up my hips, loosen up the knees. And then when I'm not being super lazy, I do try to keep regular stretching in. Stretch every night for 10 or 15 minutes. Get a PVC pipe I'll roll on. Just keep everything kind of limber. Especially as I get closer to 275, 280, I get really stiff. And so that helps quite a bit, keep my mobility up.
Do you do outside therapy, like chiropractic or deep tissue at all?
I'll go to the chiropractor maybe once every 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
That's usually about the time it takes for me to get a compressed lower back or tweak in my neck.
Yeah.
But I've never done ART. I've never done like a deep tissue massage.
Cool.
Just
what's your ultimate end goal? I mean, a lot of people say pro potential, this or that. I mean, in your head, where do you see yourself ultimately? Where would you like to be? So you're 24. So let's say by the time you're 28, 29, what are your goals as far as bodybuilding, career, everything? Where do you want to be like 4 or 5 years from now?
good question. Well, I think anyone who really wants to be a bodybuilder, everyone who steps on stage wants to be a pro. But you gotta be realistic too. It takes a freak to be a pro bodybuilder. And at my height at 5'11", I'd have to compete probably 260, 270 to not look thin on stage. Yeah. And I've always considered the end goal for myself just to look competitive on like a national stage, go to a national show or junior national show, look like I belong up there, not get dead last. That's been kind of my goal in mind as far as bodybuilding.
Yeah. If you dieted down now, what do you think you'd probably weigh roughly?
Like stage condition?
Yeah, stage condition.
I think I'd be top of the heavies at least.
Yeah.
Like borderline heavy, super heavy, like really close. I got down to about 245 this mini cut, and I'd be lucky to have 20 pounds to lose at that point.
Right. And you still have, assuming you're going to compete next May, you still have, not from now until really about January, realistically, if you want. You could easily, at the rate you're going, I could easily foresee another 10 to 15 pounds of solid muscle. You're still in that stage where you're really making good gains. Really. The whole budget thing, you've been able to do this on, a normal human being's budget, a regular guy. So there's a lot of guys out there in that situation, and they just sort of make excuses. I can't improve. I don't have enough money to eat the way these guys eat. what can you tell these guys out there watching who just don't think they can make any kind of real progress because they don't have 50 grand disposable a year that they can blow on food, gear, whatever they want at their disposal?
I think it just takes really careful planning. I don't do a lot of outside things outside of my life. I mean, I sit at home, I go to work, go to school. I don't go on trips. I don't go out on the weekends. I plan my food, like what's on sale, what's not on sale, what food can I eat a lot of that's cheap, what food can I treat myself with every now and then. My gym membership is fairly cheap, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Supplements are minimal. I just take what's necessary, and then a few health supplements that help my health, and that's really about it. I don't buy all the fancy, schmancy.
Yeah, let's talk about Animal for a second, because you just became a brand ambassador for Animal, and they're a company that you've obviously been a customer of for many years yourself. So what's it like to finally have some real connection and be part of the company in a way?
Oh, I can't describe it. It was when I got the email asking for it. I had the biggest smile on my face. I couldn't believe it. I reread through the email 2 or 3 times. And it was like a dream. Like I've always jumped at being part of the company. They always make you feel like part of the company. It's the whole family aspect of Animal.
Yeah.
You go down to the Arnold, the animal cage. You meet so many people that become your friends. I've met so many friends and acquaintances down there, just through Animal. So now the fact that I can help represent the company, represent the brand, get people engaged with Animal, help show people that they're more than just a supplement company. They care about your goals. They care about where you want to get to. They're not just trying to push the products on you. It feels really good. I'm super excited to see where this goes.
Cool. Now, are you going to be at the Olympia at the Animal Cage?
No, I can't afford to travel, so I will be. The Arnold's really the big expo I get to every year, because it's only a couple hours from where I live.
I'm going to pry into your personal life here. What degree are you working on right now?
I have my bachelor's in exercise physiology, and then I just started going back to school to get my physical therapist assistant degree.
Okay.
So I will be PTA.
And I see a lovely lady in your Facebook picture. Are you married?
Nope, just a girlfriend for now.
Okay. Didn't know. Some guys, I was dopey. I got married at 21. I don't know if you were similarly dopey. What kind of hobby? Do you have time for anything else to do? Do you follow sports, or do you have any hunting, anything that's not related to all this stuff?
I watch sports. I mean, I try to make it to a football game here and there every year. I do have friends. I travel a little bit for some friends, but I don't do anything outrageous. I don't have any major hobbies. I just kind of keep myself inside, and family and friends around town.
Because I'm a weird person, I have a couple weird questions. Why is Chris Farley your avatar picture on the MD forums?
When I was fat, I got a lot of comments that I look like Chris Farley. Like a lot, even in the face. I'll have to send you a picture of the one that looks just like him. I looked a lot like Chris Farley. In high school, they always made me do like Chris Farley spoof videos and for our media class. And
okay, well, that explains it. Are you aware that the family in the Amityville Horror, George and Kathy Lutz, share your last name?
I've never seen it, but I did know that they have my last name.
You've never seen the Amityville Horror?
I have not.
God.
I've never seen a lot of good movies.
Oh, it's a classic. Oh well. How many different boards do you post on? I'm just curious.
There's about three main ones.
Okay. Are you D-nuts on all of them?
I am.
Okay.
Over the years, there's been probably close to a dozen. Okay. There's about a dozen D-nuts running around, but there's 3 that I regular on now.
So how do you decide? Because I see you I won't hear a thing about you. You won't post for long periods, it seems. And then all of a sudden, there's dark again. So do you just sort of get inspired to maybe come back and check out the board? Are you always lurking and not posting very much?
Yep, I'm always reading. I'm always looking around. It's just based on my school schedule, work schedule, if I feel like getting my laptop out or not. A lot of times I'm just on my phone and tap and talk, and I'm too lazy to type with my fingers. So
So how much more schooling do you have for that particular degree?
About a year and a half.
Okay. So
This is-
I'm sure you're already kind of planning for the day when that's all over with. How do you foresee, like, your life changing in terms of the training and the eating and everything? Do you think you're going to be able to take all this to a little higher level once you're able to just, work a job and do all this instead of having to work and go to school?
I think I'll be able to have a more rigid schedule, which helps lower stress a little bit. So, and of course, the bigger income will be nice.
Yeah. Do you get enough sleep? I'm just curious for someone that has that kind of schedule.
Yeah, on a good night, I can still get 7 hours. Average night's 4.5, 5, plus maybe a nap during the day.
So you just finished a mini cut, you said, and you're gaining. So kind of walk people. I'm sure people are going to ask, what's your sort of plan as far as what do you want to do with your training, your body weight, leading up to next May? Just a rough plan of what you plan to do.
Like I said, I think I started my bulking phase. It would have been Friday this last week, and I think I'm going to try and push this about 15, 16 weeks, just see how high I get my body weight while staying in reasonable condition. I feel like I've done a decent job over the past year and a half of staying fairly lean post-show while putting on a good amount of body weight. I'm a bigger frame guy, so my body wants to be bigger. It seems like I can get up to 270 pretty easy. Anything over 270 is a struggle. Anything lower than 250, I feel pretty crappy. So my body naturally wants to hover around 260 to 270.
Yeah.
So I would like to try and push it and be able to hold a 280 as long as I can until I start prep, 280, 285. I'll probably start actual show prep about January.
Okay.
I found out that this past mini cut that I can lean out pretty quick if I get pretty extreme with it. So it actually was a pretty beneficial mini cut as far as experimenting with my body.
And do you find certain type of diet works best for you? Like some people love keto, some people do better with carbs. What do you function best on?
I always end up with a lower fat diet. This past mini cut, I made some really drastic cuts right off the bat. Almost completely eliminated fat minus some eggs and red meat. I dropped carbs by about 2/3 almost immediately. Double hit cardio sessions daily.
Wow.
And I got fairly close to show condition over the course of 5 weeks.
Wow.
So it was really rapid. I felt like death, but I kept almost all my strength, if not got stronger.
Wow.
I kept more lean mass that way than a longer 24+ week diet.
Which sort of goes against what even I tell people, long and gradual. But you just proved that that's not always true.
Yeah, I wonder. My philosophy was that your body's fresh when you start the diet, so throw more at it, and then kind of rest it toward the end, get to where you need to be as fast as you can. So I'm curious to see if that's something that will hold up over the long run, or if I just got lucky this one time, or I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, fun part about it.
Do you aspire to do any coaching? Do you do any coaching yet?
Nothing major. I help a few people around town. I got about 6 to 8 clients that I do a mix, either training, diet, or a mixture of both.
Yeah.
None of them are competitive.
I'm really surprised because I see the reactions you get online. I would think more people would be hitting you up. I'm really surprised.
People always want advice until they realize they got to pay for it.
Isn't that the truth? But the funny thing is, some bikini chick will say meal plans available, and people are willing and happy to throw money at her. It's the weirdest thing.
Everyone wants to be bikini chick. No one wants to look like I look, but that's gross. So
I agree. It's disgusting. But all right, man. Is there anything anyone you need to thank, or anything I didn't ask you want to make sure that you get out there?
I mean the usuals. Thank my family for being supportive. I want to give a shout out to my one of my good friends. He's one of the guys that took me under his wing at my gym when I first started. His name's Ryan Bishop. He's my old training partner. He's been there every step of the way. He actually came to my first show the day after rotator cuff surgery.
Ooh.
He wouldn't miss it for the world. I was really supportive of him. My girlfriend Mary, and just everyone that's ever supported me. All the guys on the boards that have interacted with me, given me advice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anywhere without all the online advice I've gotten over the years.
Cool. So, all right. Well, it's been my pleasure to have you, Derek. Thank you for taking the time to talk to everyone today.
No problem. I appreciate it.
For the Ronline Report, this has been me with Derek Lutz.